We are starting a brand new series. I'm excited about this new series. And it is on, today it's on that regaining those customers that we have lost in the past. You know, who was it? Is it you, Susan? I think it's Susan said, I think it is. You got to say, you make that comment all the time about 6 months ago. Say it for everyone.
Is it the one when I say it's easy for me to share about Juice Plus, but if you liked it and you got on it, why do I always have to remind you about it? That frustrates me, and I'm terrible on follow up, and that's my sister's strong point. And I'm like, oh, and that's what I have to learn. But I'm like, it hasn't changed. If you believed in it, keep on, you know. But it doesn't work that way.
You always used to say, well, why was it such a great idea 6 months ago? And now it's not. And so, you know what? Here's the deal. That's people. You know, if we are in the business of sales, which we are, we're gonna win some, we're gonna lose some. And I remember early on having this conversation with Scott. Back to your point, Susan, I don't get it. I don't get it. They thought it was great. Now suddenly I can't get a hold of them. And I remember this was some advice that Scott gave me, and it was good. He's always given me great advice. He said, have you ever like mapped it out? Have you ever mapped it out? Like, this is a customer, they're calling you like, oh my gosh, when is my Juice Plus going to ship out? I'm almost out. You guys, you know, you've got customers like that. And then you've got customers that are like, I'm not sure why I started taking Juice Plus to begin with. Anybody had any customers like that? They never really understood why. And so he said, I want you to go through all your customers, A, being those customers calling you in a panic, oh my gosh, I'm almost out of Juice Plus, and C, being the ones that's like scratching their head, not sure why they started taking Juice Plus to begin with. And then B, are all those customers that when you call them like, oh my gosh, I got to get mine out. I've gotten behind. So those would be your B customers. They're anxious to get back on. They've fallen off the bandwagon. Not that they don't want to take it. They've just fallen off the bandwagon. And as I literally went through all my customers, did A, B, or C. I'm going to challenge you guys to do the same. And you know what I found? And then he goes, then graph it out. And what did it graph out to? A bell curve. So if I had 10 customers, I'd have 2 that are calling me. They're going to take it for life. Better make sure it's coming. Probably from those 2, 1 will probably become a partner. Then I'd have of the 10, I'd probably have 2 that scratch their head. They don't know why they're taking it anymore. And then I will have 6. They're going to be solid customers, but they need to hear from me on a frequent basis to keep them, get them back on track. How can I help you? Let's do this. What about this? Have you tried this? That's the majority, is that I've got to stay closely connected with them. So anyway, we're going to kind of take a look at this whole topic of, oh shoot, I hate it when I do this. Okay, escape. All right, we are going to take a look at this. How do we stop the leak? Let me get back here. Okay, how do we stop this leak? So we're doing great. We're bringing on customers. If you can just imagine a bathtub, and you're trying to take a bath, nice, warm, relaxing, sudsy bath. But you neglected to put the stopper in the drain. So you've got the water coming in full blast, but you can never get it up to the top where you want it to be. It's because that drain is constantly just, the water's flowing out. The same is true when it comes to our customers. You know, we can be excellent at attracting customers, but if we're not doing a good job connecting with them, staying in touch with them, kind of back to Susan's comment, Yeah, you know what? We've got to remind them why they started taking Juice Plus in the first place. We've got to make sure that they're off to a strong start and that right off the bat, they're highly educated. We've done a great job educating them. We just kind of went through that series the last couple weeks of making sure they're off to a strong start. They know the research. We're sharing a little tidbits of the research. We're sharing videos. You know, every time it's time for their order to ship out, we're connecting with them so that they're not getting overloaded. And every time that reminder that their order's about to ship out, I always try to send them some new asset to help build their belief in Juice Plus. You know, we typically have those first 4 months to really build their belief. And so in order to stop the belief, we got to do excellent customer care. And that's what we just went through. The last 3 weeks, we just went through that, attaining, retaining, and maintaining them. So if you're like, you know what, that's an area I really want to build and grow on, then go back and listen to that series, because that's the series that we went through of taking good care of these customers. So we've got these customers. How do we stop from losing them? When we think about really building and growing a strong business, keeping our customers for life, that's really where we build and grow our income. It's a lot of work to get a new customer. I was reading just on customer retention, and it was saying it takes 5 times more time to get a new customer than it does to maintain an old one. So let's have in our minds, when we get a customer, we are going to do everything we can to keep them engaged, to get them educated so that we have a customer for life. That's our goal. We're not selling cars. We are selling a lifestyle of living healthy through whole food nutrition. So number one, let me ask you this. Do you have a system? You know, I'm going to talk about a system. I am a stuck record. So if we think about this STOP, we're going to hit 4 areas on how to stop the leak. Number one, you have to have a system to make sure that you're tracking your customer retention. How are you doing? Do you have a list of your customers? And are you adding to those? Every time you get a new customer, you're adding to that list so that somehow, some way, you know when you've lost a customer. Sometimes people don't call you. If we never want them to call the company and cancel the order. I don't know that any of my customers even know they can do that, to be honest. I don't want them to know that. I want them to let me know. You know, probably most of my customers, they just stretch out their order and keep stretching out their order. And the other day, I literally texted a guy who's been a customer for probably 15 years. And I noticed I was putting his order on, you know, stretching it out. And I texted him and I said, do you know that you're down to only the berry blend? Everything else I've put on delay, and now I've had to cancel. The only blend that you're getting now is the berry blend. Did you realize that? What's going on? And I didn't hear anything. And he's a good friend, so I knew I could do that with him. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. Then I get a text from his wife and said, okay, whatever the 3 we're not ordering, just order them all. And we're getting back on track. And then he responded and he's like, I promise I've been taking it. And I'm thinking, you haven't. I had to cancel your orders. But people, they get busy. They don't realize it. And it wasn't that he was choosing not to take Juice Plus anymore. It's just life happens. And he just got off track. So if I'm not tracking my customer retention, we're going to have people just kind of float away. Now, just so I'm clear and you're not thinking I don't deal with customer retention, let me show you. This is embarrassing, but I'm going to show you. This, can y'all see this? I started using TeamZ maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that's how many customers I've lost. That's embarrassing. Look at that. I don't even know. I didn't count. That was too discouraging for me to count. But as I'm looking through these names, I'm like, I could so get them back. I could so get that one back. And I know why, most of them why, but I have a renewed vision after doing this. Now, let me show you. I've been doing this 23 years. That's probably in the last 4 years. I want you guys to just take a gander. If you're feeling bad about your customer loss, that represents 23 years of customers I've lost. Look at that. I want you to look at that. Those are customer orders. Look at that. That's embarrassing. But you know what it is? It also tells me I should not, the word, I don't know who to talk to, should never come out of my mouth, should it? So what I do know is when I reach out to people, I bet if I reached out to this, let's just say that's 20 people, say that's 60 people. I guarantee if I reached out to those 60 people over the next 2 weeks, I could probably at least get 10 of them back easily, if not 20. A lot of times we don't have a system to see. We don't have our head down in the tub watching the water go down the drain. I want us to visualize, just everyone close your eyes right now. I want you to visualize dollar bills going down the drain. I want that picture to be seared in our memory of just seeing money going down the drain. All right, you can open your eyes. That's what's happening. And so if we're not somehow, whether it's a notebook, an Excel spreadsheet, somehow, somewhere, we've got to capture those customers that we've lost, and how are we going to get them back? And I just got a book. We're going to start this next week, how to follow up. How to follow up. How are we going to follow up with these people we've lost? And we're going to go into this series next. I was hoping I'd get this book before today, but we didn't, but that's okay. This is what we need to hear today. So I'm here to tell you, and Brenda and I've already had this conversation, I'm going to really start working on capturing these customers back and get them back on track. I did that. One person I wasn't afraid as much as I didn't want to make that text message, but it worked. And that's what we have to do. So number one, we have to have some sort of system. I'm asking you now, write on a piece of paper, yes or no. Do I have a system to track the customers that I've lost? And can I figure them out? Hopefully you came today with a list of them already. Kudos to you if you got a list, because we're going to hone in on these customers that we've lost in the past. The T, so S is have a system. T is we can't be afraid to talk to them and ask them why. You know, a lot will be like my friend Bobby. I'm still taking it, even though based on his ordering, I know he's slacked off. But what have I just done? I've just heightened his awareness to get back on track. So don't be afraid to ask them why they left or they quit. And then be sure and thank them. Thank you for telling me. You know, the absolute worst customer is the customer who will leave and not tell you why. I've got a big issue with the dry cleaners right now. We won't get into that. That's a 15-minute conversation. But you know what bothers me? I went to that dry cleaner for 17 years. I spend on average $50 to $75 a week. They have not called me to ask me, oh my gosh, what happened? Why we haven't seen you? If someone calculate $50 times 52 weeks, That's how much money they lost, and nobody's bothered to call me and ask me why. That blows my mind. But yet we're doing that if we're not following up and asking people why they left and thanking them for being willing to tell us.
$2,600.
How much? $2,600 a year times 17. What is that times 17, Brenda? 26 times 17. That's how much money they've made off of me. And yet they don't have enough customer care in them. How much did that come to?
I'm sorry, I didn't even have that.
2,600 times 17. I've been with this dry cleaners for 17 years. How much money is that?
$18,200.
And I'm not worth a phone call? That's the kind of stuff we got to think about. Is they deserve to hear from us. They deserve, even if they don't want to come back, we want to know why, so that if it's on our end, we can correct it. If it's on their end, it's in their ball court. But you know what? I would consider going back to my dry cleaners if they'd call me.
Actually, that was $44,000.
So I did the math wrong. Sorry.
$2,600 times 17.
Yes, it's $44,000.
I got to get clothes that don't need to go to the dry cleaner. Anyway, my gosh, that just really chaps my hide that they don't even, I don't know that they've noticed I'm not back. They should. I come every week. So let's not be afraid to ask why, to reach out, and then to thank them for telling us. You know, that's going to stretch us. But I tell you what, it shows we care about our business. It shows we care about them. It shows that we have something of value that we think they need. It's going to speak volumes to them. So if you don't have a list, number one, make sure you have a list of all your canceled customers. Number two, make sure you have a system to catch any other ones that you lose. Number three, we want to make sure, let's make it a point that everyone on this call, we start connecting with those inactive customers. All right, the O, S is for system, T is to talk. Number three, O, offer. Offer a solution, a discount, education, or an apology. Based on their why, do we need a solution? Maybe they just couldn't remember to take it. How about that? Tells me they don't value it yet. So obviously there's some education that needs to be done on our part, or maybe we need to help them figure out a way to consistently take it. Or, you know what? Sometimes is, hey, I would love for you to remind you what you're missing out on. Could I bring a bag of complete to you? Did you know we have Omegas now? You know, could I, you know, if you come back, I'll give you my profit. I'll give you the 25 bucks, 20 bucks, 10 bucks. Calculate how much you make off that and give them a 10% discount to get you back. That's how bad I want you back. I want you as a customer. Or if we find out it's something we did, maybe we didn't do our part really educating them, really getting them set up and off to a strong start. And maybe we owe them an apology. You know what? I'm really sorry. I didn't do a good job when it came. I had just gotten started. I didn't have a system in place. Will you forgive me? Will you give me another chance to really make things right? I'm telling you what, that dry cleaners, if they called me back and apologized, that would be a game changer. A game changer. So are we willing to offer them something? Solution, discount, education, apology. We are business owners. We can do that. We should do that. We're leaders. All right. And lastly, S is system, T is talk to them, O is offer them something. And then lastly, promise to give them the customer care they deserve. and then deliver. I want customers for life. I am not, my goal is to lock arms with people on their health journey. I'm not a car salesman, one time getting as much as I can. That's not who I am. My goal is to have relationships with my customers, and I want to be there for you. You need something, you need me to talk to a doctor, you need me to research and find something. I want to be there. I want to help you win on your health journey. We want to promise them what they deserve. All right, let me stop. Let me see. I don't even know where we are from a time standpoint. We have 10 minutes. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Let me hear from you guys. Let me first see by hands, how many of you guys did your homework and came with a list of people, customers that you've lost? Let me see your hands. All right. All right. If you don't have your list, that's your homework for this week. If we do these calls every week, we want to make sure, I'm sorry, one second. I can't sorry, I didn't want to keep hearing that phone ring. Okay, that's our homework. Number one is make sure we create that list of customers who we've had and we've lost. And then secondly, make sure we have a system in place that we don't miss. When we lose someone, we can immediately, return to them and try to resolve the issue. Okay, so Nadia, I saw you raise your hand. Nadia?
Yes, hi. Sorry, I had to unmute myself first. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for the inspiration from last week. I know that customer service was a really, really, poor quality from me because I was so focused on team building. And I sat down today and I developed my process of how to do customer service. I also use Teamzy. I entered all of the dates when the next payment is due, and I have like a flow chart. Aside from the things where I want to set them up as a general thing, I have a flow chart with like 7 points that I go through for the following 3 months or 4 months, and it's set up so that when they do reorder, I remind myself, then send them a goodie, and then I go back to point number 1. So it's like a constant loop. That'll probably help me to catch anybody who falls through the cracks or doesn't pay or, falls off the wagon. And I also, created like a form for myself so that I can also quickly do it by hand. And if I don't have time to enter it into Teamzy right then and there, I can do it at a later point.
I love it.
Yeah, and one thing that I wanted to share that I came up with and maybe kind of like plays into what you were saying. So I have a new customer who's already a raving fan. She hasn't even really started, and I'm trying to match everybody up with a healthy start for family child. So she doesn't have any children, so we found a great need that we can support. And I got a cute picture today where the little girl is holding up her Juice Plus bags. What I have done, because she has so many different health issues, and so does her husband and her brother, is I created a boards for her. And what I can do now is educate her that this is going to be our hub, where whenever she wants some information, I can put it in there, and then I just resend the link to her personalized boards. And then she has all of the information she ever received from me. It's not in individual emails, it's not in individual text messages. This is her personalized hub. And so she can always go back and refer back to the information. So I'll be definitely doing that. So maybe it's helpful for somebody else.
Well, I think that you just got yourself an A++. You have, I'm gonna stop the